All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 14. I am your host, Frantic, followed by my lovely co-host, and his name, as always, is.
Grunt.
And we are here to talk to you about video games and junk. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. There's been not too much in terms of games we've been playing, but just a lot of news and a lot of stuff on our end that we've gotten out. So this will be fun to go through. The first thing I want to talk about, and we're just going to jump right in at this point, unless you have anything you would like to add, Grunt.
I mean, not right now. We
Well,
just we just started, so I'm sure I'll find some stuff.
let's go. How was your week?
We should always start with that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I silently raged at Destiny because disconnects are stupid.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
But most of my time has been spent playing Halo 5 for reasons we'll discuss later. Building a map with someone who gets a shout out on the podcast every week. Talking about you, Freak Show.
If he's listening, hopefully he
If
is.
he's listening.
Yes, he does get a. I know you guys I've seen a lot of your tweets where it's like figuring out how to script and stuff. What are you trying to script in the game? By the way, I'm actually kind of curious.
It's basically the way the maps, the Griffball Forge maps are. Which, yeah, by the way, that's what we're making, a Griffball court. Sorry if you wanted to keep that a secret, Freak Show, but
That's what we're doing. That's what you guys are doing.
I mean, my tweets pretty much gave it away anyways, and
That's true.
so it doesn't really matter. But you spawn in on a breakout platform, and then your character animation runs to Man Cannon, which takes you into the court, and you have to, there's a little hole in where the wall is that you have to go through, otherwise you hit that and you end up dying, and that's not good.
Right.
So the way Knockyard has it is there's an invisible blocker above everything, and an invisible blocker is pretty much just that. It's invisible in game, and it's just like an invisible wall.
Yeah, I was
really.
gonna say it's
That's
like a
all it
wall
is.
of death that you can run into, but it doesn't kill you.
It doesn't kill you, exactly. And it moves down, so it blocks that area, that hole you enter the map from.
Right.
So, you can't get back out or, throw the ball out and despawn the ball. Because people do that, apparently.
Yeah, we have fun stories about that, by the way. We'll get there.
We do. We do. But the way our map design is we have walls coming, like glass walls, I think is what they are, coming up out of the sides. And I was tasked with trying to figure out how they are supposed to move up. Because you spawn it at a certain coordinate, and then it moves up as each round starts.
Okay.
So you basically, when the game starts, you have no wall around the side of your court, and then like 5 seconds into the match, maybe give or take a few seconds, the wall pops up from the outer edge. So it looks really cool.
Okay.
And that is why I had to learn scripting, which is totally confusing to me. But I think if I just get into Forge Lobby, I create one or whatever, and I just sit there and play around with the scripts for an entire afternoon, I could probably figure it out. It's basically programming, which I do not know anything of.
I might be able to help there.
You probably would. You'd probably be able to smoke me with stuff like that.
I wouldn't say that. I'm sure it's got its own way of thinking. But yeah, I could give it a wing. Give it a go, I guess is the right way to say it.
So it's been fun, basically learning how to program things to do stuff when I know nothing about programming.
Oh.
I think my problem is with a lot of stuff is I overthink it. It's simple, and I need to figure out how it works.
Yeah, sometimes I'll admit in many of the debugging things I've had to do, the most obvious answers have never been the ones I pick. It's always the simplest stuff. So it could be something like that, or it could just be something that's really, really like complex. So
Right.
I wouldn't know without looking at it. I'm sure people who are listening who have done scripting in Halo are probably just like, you guys, it's not that hard.
Oh, right. I mean, Forge it's easier, but at first it is really complicated if you don't know what you're doing. I never really forged much, so it was fun getting to learn how to use Halo 5's version of it.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, it's gotten easier. I know how to do some of this stuff that, like, duplicate items. So all you have to do is move it from one side of the map to the other, and it's at the same coordinates and everything.
Yeah, I always enjoyed forging the same reason I enjoyed Minecraft, where I could just kind of like draw it out on a map, like a graph
Right,
paper, and then make it in game. I made a
right.
couple of really fun maps back in the day, but it was before I knew how to do any of the coordinate locking and all that stuff to where you could make like a ground that was very even. It would be like rigid and stuff, so I wouldn't be. I know how I want the map to be, but I wasn't good at Forge in that sense where I knew how to make it perfectly aligned.
Right.
So
And that is so much easier now because you can go and edit an object's properties and individually move the X, Y, and Z coordinates.
mhm.
So you can
Yeah,
really fine tune it.
you've been able to do that in since Halo Reach, by the way, which is where I figured it out, but I just never built anything.
Right. See, that
Yeah.
that goes to show how little I actually have forged because I didn't know that was in there since Reach.
Yeah, that's like I said, I went on like the Halo subreddit back then and was just like, how do you guys make these really smooth grounds and stuff? I always make them really rigid. First comment just goes, it was hover over, press X, find, edit coordinates. You're done. I was like, oh, it was that easy. Man,
That
I'm really
easy.
dumb.
Wow.
Should have watched the video. So, all right, we'll get
But
into
that's
Halo
how my
talking
week has been.
more. Yeah, that was your week was much in terms of forging, um, and a little bit of Destiny, which I was involved with. Where my week wasn't on the forging side. It was a lot of Halo with you and Freak Show, and then trying to do some bounties on Destiny, but Destiny was not having me this week. It just kept kicking me. We jumped into Trials of Osiris last night, or yesterday afternoon, roughly. We jumped
Yeah.
into Trials. In the first game, we played through, what would I say? We played through 4 games, because that's where my bounty is stuck at. We played through 4 games, and then when we got to the 5th game, which would have been either a loss or a win, and we would have been knocked out of Trials because of how our ticket was going, I immediately got disconnected right when I joined the game. Like, as soon as it went to the loading screen, I was kicked back out to the main menu. I was like, oh, that's really lame. I logged back in and it was like, oh, you got your final loss on the trials ticket, which by the way, you're only allowed technically 3 losses unless you purchase with fastest coins. Blah blah blah. For those of you who aren't listening, who don't know and don't care, basically you're only allowed 3 losses, and I was at 2, and so it disconnected me and gave me the loss. So I was really upset about that. I was like, oh dang it. Well, at least it gives me my games played and my it goes towards my bounties. Actually, it doesn't go towards your bounty. It didn't count as completing a ticket, even though it technically ended my ticket, and it did not count that game as a game completed because obviously I didn't complete it. But it still made me go buy a new trials passage because I had 3 losses and couldn't keep playing. So that really
Right.
annoyed me. I was like, great, well I got to play another game. So we buy the new ticket. We partied up once they just jumped off the cliff and finished their ticket. We go into a game and I got kicked again, and I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So at that point, I was like, let's just play Iron Banner. Don't gotta worry about buying a ticket. We'll just play for bounties. And I got kicked again. Didn't even finish. Didn't even get to play the game. So at that point,
Yeah.
we were
Game
just
didn't
like,
even. Yeah. Game didn't even start before it kicked you.
yeah,
It
yeah. The
was
game
in
hadn't even
its
started, and
loading.
I was gone. I was a caterpillar or something. Uh, every time.
Weasel.
Yeah, I was a weasel or I was a caterpillar, one of the two. So we were just like, you know what? Let's go play a game that now doesn't have connection issues for me. And my, I think my quote was, "How about we just go play the game that I can actually play and know how to fix my connection issues by streaming?" Because if you didn't listen to our podcast where we talked about that, in order for me to play Halo 5, I have to stream Twitch via the Twitch app on my Xbox One.
Yeah.
And
Which
before you
still stupid.
accuse me of having crappy internet, I actually have better internet than Freak Show or Grunt
Also true.
in terms of just straight speed. And I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying I actually don't have bad internet. It just doesn't like me. So
I
that's
think you're trying
unfortunate.
to brag.
I'm definitely, no, I'm not. Other than that, played some Magic with Luke, talked to him about a couple of random things, and played some Smash Brothers. I have some hilarious stories from Smash. I'm just going to go over one. I've told you before I play Mr. Game and Watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for those of you listening, I play Mr. Game and Watch. If you don't know what Mr. Game and Watch does, the 2 things that he does that are really hilarious is when you do your side B, he swings a hammer that rolls a number between 1 and 9. If you roll a 9, you automatically pretty much kill whatever you're hitting, no matter what percentage they're at, unless it's a really, really big map. And then the down B, he catches specific projectiles, and it's energy projectiles. So you can't catch a bow and arrow from like Link or somebody, but you could catch Samus Aran's like shots that she shoots with her gun that are when she charges her B, because she shoots missiles and stuff, and you can't catch those. So I can catch these things, and if I catch three of them, or if I catch a really charged one, it'll fill up my bucket. If I unleash the bucket, it's called like a oil. Everyone calls it oil. You just release it, and then whatever if it hits something, they just go flying off screen and they die.
Oh,
So
nice.
I was playing against one of my buddies who typically plays Samus, but he actually switched over to Mega Man just to screw around. And he charges up Mega Man shot and shoots it at me right at the beginning of the game, and I catch it in my bucket. And we have a bunch of friends over, and they're like, "Well, that was smart." So I now have this fully charged bucket. Well, he runs at me, I shield, and then grab him because you can grab out of shield. I down throw him, which means he's going to land right in front of me and drop the oil on him and instantly kill him right when the game starts. And
Oh man,
he was very upset.
that
But it
I
gets
mean,
better. It gets better
oh, it gets
because
better.
his very next stock, he gets me a couple hits on me, and then he tries to jump up and hit me, and I roll the hammer to see if I can hit a nine and nine him off screen. So before he's even taken down one of my three stocks, he's lost two to my randomness, and it was great.
Wow, you
And
really need to bring that.
the funny thing
Really,
is this is my friend who I always roll nines on. I roll nines all significantly less on other people, and he gets the blunt end of my. He's the same one that we were at the tournament, and I just jumped off screen and tried to hit him and hit the wrong button, but rolled a nine anyways. It's the same guy, so he's
oh
felt
man,
some great distaste from me.
oh man, you need to bring that luck into our D&D campaign.
If I could find my lucky die, I would. I know where it's at. So that was my week. Mostly Smash Brothers, Halo, and Destiny. I think I did watch some TV as well. Other than that, I think that was about it. I watched Arrow and Flash and stuff. By the way, I just want to speak really fast to Arrow. I know we don't typically talk about TV shows. I am a big fan of the DC Comics TV shows that they have going on, like Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Arrow. And Arrow's been getting more and more soap opera-y than it has superheroes. It's been all about drama. Say what you will about it. The last scene of the last episode was literally the most stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I love this show. You know, I would almost consider myself a fanboy where I just love it so much I don't see things wrong with it. I see something wrong with this. Trust me. And this is a spoiler, by the way, for the latest episode. It's season 4, episode 15. This is a spoiler. If you are listening and haven't heard it, you'll probably want to fast forward about 5 minutes. Basically, one of the main characters, there's Oliver Queen, who's the Arrow, and then his now fiance Felicity Smoke, who is like the tech person, the really smart person who hacks into things. She had the line also a couple of weeks ago that was, "Oh my God, he could blow up the internet." That was dumb because that just can't happen. Anyways, that was really dumb, and I forgave them for that because maybe they just don't understand computers. I really shouldn't have forgiven them for that because this happens. But she's in a wheelchair because she got paralyzed after getting like shot or something, so she's going full on Oracle from Batman. She's in a wheelchair. He proposed to her and stuff, and they're going to get married and all that. And Oliver's been hiding the fact that he has a son from her because that was the kid's mom wanted the stipulation to be no one finds out about the kid. I don't know why that was the reason. Literally for this scene, probably. So she eventually finds out about the kid, and it's pretty much you shouldn't lie to me. We're going to get married. We can't have secrets. I know you're all superhero-y and keep your secrets from everybody, but I'm the one person you can share your secrets. Okay, I get that. But the previous episode, she told her mother, the guy you're dating is in really dark water and like dark. He's dealing with like the supervillain of the series right now, and she's like, sometimes they gotta lie to protect you. It happens. Lying for a good reason. So this episode, she's like, you can't lie to me. You can't do that. And it's like, didn't you just tell your mom that? But here's where it gets good. Her like intern that's under her at her company made her this really awesome microchip that might be able to let her walk again. And you see at the very beginning of the episode that she's really trying and doing like physical therapy, but she just can't do it. Okay, so the tech might not be working. I get that. Well, at the very end of this episode, she's like, I need space. You didn't tell me. You're lying to me. I need space." And then he's like, "Oh, well, you need to rethink this." And then she twitches her foot, and it's like, "Oh my God, she might be able to walk now." And it's like, "Wow, this is a big message. She might walk." Well, she puts her foot on the ground. She's like, "Oh my God, I can walk." And I shit you not, she stands up and walks out of the room.
Okay, then.
I literally just threw my hands up in the air like, "What the hell?" She was trying physical therapy. She can't walk. Clearly, that's what the physical therapy's there for. And she just gets up and walks out. Like she gets up, holds onto the pillar next to her that supports like the room she's in, and then just walks out on her own. No, not even
I
buying it.
mean,
It made me so mad.
that's yeah. That It's pretty bad.
I mean, it's not like she'd been in a wheelchair for like a season or something like that. She was in it for, I think, 3 to 4 weeks of show, but there was some time that went in between there. So I would admit
Right.
that she probably wouldn't have the easiest way of walking, but she could probably walk better than someone who's never walked in their life. But seriously, just get up and walk out. Do they want us to hate her more than we already hate her? Because the entire season 3, she just cried. That was all she did. And I really tried to sit there and think, I understand it. Your boyfriend went insane, essentially. I get it. Yep. Just
Not buying this though. Not even
That,
not even
that,
trying.
that
Are you?
was the last straw for me. Like I was really wanting, like I liked this season, and I still like this season. It was a great episode. The whole episode was really fun and awesome. But that was just literally the worst thing ever.
Oh
I
man.
thought blow up the internet was bad, but man, did it get so much worse.
Oh man.
So, anyways, we're gonna get back on topic now. For those of you that I may have spoiled something for, I'm sorry. It was hard not to sit here and rage about that. It's been on my mind since I watched it Thursday, and I'm just like, oh my god, why?
Please, why do you do this to me, writers?
So, anyways, that was my week. I was pent full of rage and testosterone. That's not true, but still. All right, we're like 15 minutes into this episode already, and we haven't even talked about things besides Halo and Arrow. So here's where we're gonna go.
Well, see, it falls under that and junk category.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, video games and junk.
right?
Clearly, a paralyzed person walking right out of a room with no help is clearly junk. I
I
probably
mean,
just spoiled it again for people who's fast forwarded. I told the fast. Anyway.
all right. Well, fast forward about another minute, and you'll
But
probably
yeah,
be
yeah, you
fine.
should have fast forwarded more than you did.
Oh
Anyways,
man.
I'm going to jump into news here. We might go rapid fire through all this. There isn't too much to talk about it. It's just very important points. Uh, Today
Damn.
is the 27th, I believe. Yes. Okay.
Something like that. We'll go with that.
Today is technically the 20th anniversary for the Pokemon series, although yesterday was the 27th in Japan. So that's where Pokemon's from. They announced a brand new series that's coming in the holiday season this year, and it's called Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't know enough about it to tell you besides it's Sun and Moon, and apparently Grunt has seen the hashtag Team Sun and hashtag Team Moon. So there
Yeah.
might be.
Let's just say a lot of people I follow on Twitter are already hashtag Team Sun.
Okay, so a lot of people are Team Sun. All right, well, the moon gets the light from its sun, assuming the moon's gonna owe it one. That's some lyrics from a song right there. If you can name it, I will shout you out on the Twitter, on the Frantic Talks Twitter, which is at frantic_talks.
All right.
I don't think you're gonna. A lot of people are gonna get it. It's a popular band. I'm gonna stop talking about that and move on to Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm excited for it. While we're on the topic of Pokemon, my Pokemon Nuzlocke, Emerald Randomizer Nuzlocke, that whole fun thing. Episode 5 was released yesterday, and I'm releasing episode 6 tomorrow. It is on a 2 episode basis. Once we get to episode 8, I will finally have caught up with the amount I've actually recorded, which I recorded before releasing anything. It was really funny because I'm sitting there in every episode being like, I don't know the schedule that we're going to record this and release this on. And we're in a 2 day schedule where I'm releasing episodes where I'm like, I don't know. So that's cool.
So
But
just get to episode 8 and then record another 8 episodes. Release them every 2 days.
and then I'll be able to actually say, yeah, this will be coming out every 2 days instead of like, I really don't know when I'm going to record episode or release these because I've already recorded 8 episodes before episode 1 was out. It helps to be prepared. Just saying. It doesn't actually take very long to edit them either. I just look at the parts where I have zero amounts of talking because I'm training and not saying anything and just snip it. Things like
Right.
that. What takes the longest is publishing the movie as a publishable file and then putting it on YouTube. It actually takes the longest for my computer to convert it to a uploadable file than it does to actually upload the file. Again, good internet. I'm really bragging right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going on with those. We're gonna get into Magic really quick, and then we'll get into the two main things we typically talk about, which are Destiny and Halo. In Magic, first things first, Luke released an article. I actually have the Frantic Talks site up on the screen right now. It hasn't changed. I'm gonna move it to magic.frantictalks to show you the article here. It is Mind Over Commander #4, and it's about Chromat, the 5-color legendary creature who does just about everything when you read him. And Luke decided to take a ground up approach instead of a top down. He explains what that is. Essentially, the way you would build the deck would be either take the main commander and build around him, or you build from the bottom up and pick a commander that fits the colors. In his case, he wanted his main card to be called Hypergenesis, and he wanted all 5 colors, so he picked Chromat. Also, Fist of Suns is an awesome name, as Grunt did note.
It is.
Yeah, it's a decent length article, nothing too crazy. The list is linked somewhere in there. I don't remember where. Oh yeah, it's right there under the Hypergenesis picture. Goes over some of his strategies. There's some other links to cards that you can see if you hover over them. So I just highlighted a couple cards in the images. And so yeah, it's been getting some good feedback on Reddit for the most part. People were saying, "Awesome! Now I love Chromat even more than I already loved him," and etc. So good feedback on that. If you're interested in that, it's on magic.frantictalks.com. Uh, it'll be the main piece. And if you want to visit there and see more, we also have other hilariously named um, categories like Synergy Chamber and Gemstone Mining because we like puns.
It's been very neat to watch you and Luke build these decks from uh, weird. I think Luke said in his last article, broken cards. Was it?
Oh yeah, we do that
It's
quite often.
it's been interesting. Now I know very little about Magic, just what I read from your site and what you've told me
hmm
throughout the year actually. Um, so it's been interesting to learn a little bit about it myself, but then read stuff like this, and I don't understand most of it,
hmm
but by the time I've read the article, it's like, oh, so that's how that would work.
hmm
And it's been fun just to watch you guys build these decks that, if your true competitive Magic player would look at it like that deck's not going to work, and
Yeah.
then you guys prove that
Oh, it'll
it
work.
works.
You just got
It
to believe
works.
hard enough.
Yep.
So we to speak about this deck that he wrote about, I have a deck that I've written about previously. I wrote about the combos in the deck in the Synergy Chamber category. It was what was the actual card? I'm gonna find it while we're sitting here. Tree of Redemption. Yeah, this is one of my favorite cards ever, and this is before I started centerlining cards in the pictures. The Tree of Redemption is just hilarious because it basically says swap your life total with this creature's toughness, and that's really funny to me for literally no reasons. And this doesn't have as many images, but it basically just went on to show the entire base of a deck that I built, and I played the same deck against Luke's Chromat deck. And the game went on for nearly 2 hours, and it was ridiculous because of how much stuff I do compared to how much stuff he does. And it was so funny because we're just sitting there like, he had me dead the next turn at one point in this match. And I said, all right, well, how about I pray for the top deck, which is, the next card, part of the cards if you ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm like, how about I just pray that this next card blows up all creatures? Because I run like 3 or 4 of those. Well, the next card did exactly that. And instead of continuing to play, we just said, it's been 2 hours. How about we call it a day? I'll just not play this card and you'll attack me for lethal this turn. And that's it. It was quite the game. I wish I would have been like streaming it or something because it just kept getting more and more ridiculous. Because the goal of the deck is to just gain buttloads of life and be out of reach for a lot of damage. Well, he was hitting me for upwards of 50 to 70 damage a turn, which in this game mode you start at 40 life, so he technically could kill me in one turn if I'd done nothing. Well, it took him 3 or 4 turns just to give you an idea how bad it got.
Oh man.
Because I had a card that just said if you kill my creature, I gain life equal to its toughness, and he just kept killing stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep killing my things and gain life. I'm gonna block and then gain life. It got hilarious. And
Oh
then I
man.
draw the board wipe, and it's like, well, we're gonna keep going. No, we're not. So fun stories there. If we had a Magic podcast, that probably would have came up. So, anyways, he wrote about Chromat, which is a lot of fun. It's a hilarious card if you read everything that's on it. Uh, it has 5 activated abilities. All of them require some combo of the colors he is, which is all colors. It's a really fun deck. I got to play it once when we were sitting down waiting for our tournament to start this past Friday, or a week ago from this past Friday. So yeah. On to more Magic news that is also hilarious. This is going to be really quick. They just announced the Conspiracy set about a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't remember when it was. They made up the set called Conspiracy, which was all built around, for the most part, drafting instead of just constructing a 60-card deck. And there were certain cards that said if you draft this card, show it and it does this ability in the game or whatever. It was a really unique set. It was a lot of fun. It had some really cool cards in it. It had some really cool reprints that were needed. It was a cool set. And so they just announced the second one, and what's really funny is how they announced it. So they first said this past Monday, I want to say, announcing Conspiracy 2, The Reign of Braco. There's 221 cards in the set. It'll be released in like August or September or something like that, somewhere at the end of summer, if I remember correctly. And it was like, oh, cool, we're going to have a new Conspiracy set. And then 2 days later, they said, announcing Conspiracy 2, the empty throne. Oh, looks like Brago got killed. Because now there's 220 cards in the set. And they even had it stricken through, like, 221? Nope, it's 220. So Brago got killed, and now his throne is up for grabs. Oh, that's really funny, clever marketing. And then Friday, or the day before, one of the two, they announcing Conspiracy 2, Take the Crown. And they added another card to the set showing a girl sitting on the throne. And it was like, God damn it, when are we going to get the actual set name? And that is the set name. They gave us the symbol and everything, and they said, all right, jokes aside, this is it. But it's clear that the throne is up for grabs. So they called it Take the Crown, or Take the Throne. I think it's Take the
Take the
Crown.
throne. Take the throne is what you told me earlier.
Okay, I have Take the Crown written down. It might be Take the Throne. I don't want to fact check it. It's just funny. I wanted to mention it because I really enjoyed the marketing behind it, and it was really fun. Because I just kept
Those
opening Reddit up, and I'm just like, God damn it, they're still doing this. So that was fun to
those
read through.
clever people at Wizards.
Yeah, those
Clever, clever.
clever people at Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so we are going to move on now to the Bungie This Week at Bungie update. We tend to go through this in the Halo Waypoint update each week because those are the things that we play the most. And we're finally on topic, 26 minutes into this podcast, roughly. Woohoo! Anyways, so this update actually doesn't have too much in it from what I remember. We went over it beforehand, and the main things to notice are that they're going to have a Twitch stream, which is going to be on, is it March 2nd?
Yes, Wednesday, March 2nd. They will be taking you aboard the Dreadnought for a continuation of a series that they already had, where they explore the art and design of said area.
Yeah.
I like how they describe it here, like a creative post-mortem in a combat zone.
That's funny.
You will be joined by senior artist Andrew Hops and senior designer Brian Frank. They will be looking at the inscrutable loot-filled fortress of Oryx called the Dreadnought. I think I already said the Dreadnought.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Either way.
what they basically do is they just go through there and they look at an area and they're like, well, how is it? How did you think of putting that weird looking statue in that corner over there? And what was the inspiration behind that statue? You know, stuff like that. They look at like the skybox and basically explain their thought process and sometimes even the process of how they design that area. They've been fun to watch if you're interested in knowing how a game is made.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely for people who are very interested in like the concepts and design behind games, because there's a lot that goes into making a game. Sorry, we've discussed it many times before. There's a lot that goes into it. So the Game Theorist is actually a YouTube channel I follow, and they have this series called Side Questing and Looting or something like that. I don't remember the actual name of it, but essentially they go through the design and stuff like this that you would see. They would go through things like that, talking about the design of a game. Or I remember when you were talking about the Mech Warrior game or the Mech Assault game back in a couple episodes ago. Was it Mech Assault?
Yep.
They covered it on this series, talking about how instead of they used in-game logic to determine how you would build your own mech. Like, this mech couldn't do this because of these restrictions in the game lore, instead of Call of Duty having restrictions based on how they want to restrict things nowhere near close to the lore. And it's just something you wouldn't really think about, and they were really talking about it, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So I think I'd actually find this really cool. I haven't actually watched one of these. Typically, I'm doing something in the middle of the day when these get broadcasted. But I
Right.
think that'd be cool to see the design and thought process. Like, we set these waypoints here because of reasons X, Y, and Z. So if
Right.
you're into that kind of thing, which I'm sure there are plenty of people who are, obviously, that's definitely worth a watch, or at least tune in to see if you might like it.
All right. Yeah, definitely.
And then it goes on to mention the Bungie bounty, which is, so I'll let you explain it because I know all of you explained to me is all I know.
Well, we'll actually hold off on that. And one of their next
Oh,
streams, I don't know if it'll be immediately after their one ride along, but they're bringing along the audio team for another ride along.
yep.
So basically, every sound you hear in the game, the audio team is behind it, and they'll be explaining about their creative process, from the sound effects of the dialogue to the anthems of the score, to the anthems that score your adventures. I don't know how to read.
Yeah, sorry for skipping over that. Now that I think about it, it'd be kind of cool to see how an audio team figures out what they need. I've seen some like voice acting where the actors have to like do all the weird sounds. Like when someone dies, someone had to record that noise. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think it'd be really interesting to see someone like just sitting there, ah,
So
Ah, like
what's
we'll
on the
take that
agenda
quest.
today? You need to do all kinds of death screams for us today.
And they have to
Oh,
like do like 20 takes per death screen, and it's just like, looks like death scream number 9 is the one we're gonna take or something.
all right. Now that you've done all 40 of those, we're gonna use number one.
We hated all. There were 39 afterwards. We just really enjoyed watching you do that.
Right,
Well,
right.
on to the bungee bounty.
The bungee bounty. Little backstory on as to the bungee bounty. What they basically do is they have like a community manager or a group of a couple employees from the company, and they gather up with other people like streamers, other celebrities
Hmm.
from like the game community and that, and they go into the Crucible, and any team that comes across them and beats them, they get a fancy little emblem. Unfortunately, they don't have a picture of the emblem. It looks kind of cool. Um,
Is there anywhere we can see it or no?
haba. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Gotcha. Well,
Um,
if we find it, we'll probably share it at some point.
right.
Don't want to spend too much time looking for it while we're here.
But basically, that's all that happens. They go in there into the Crucible for a couple hours, and they throw down against people that they're matching up against. And if you come across them and you beat them, you get a fancy emblem plus bragging rights saying you beat Bungie and their celebrities
Hmm. Which is
they
pretty
brought
cool.
with. This time around, there's no exact date as to when it will be. I'm assuming after March 2nd. They are taking along the leaders of Clan Resolute, which is a huge and very well respected clan based on Destiny on the PS4. They're bringing along those leaders, and they will be hitting up, it looks like, Rift.
So is it? I don't know if it says it, but it will be only on PlayStation then, since they're PlayStation based.
I would assume so. Unfortunately, the downside to a lot of these Bungie bounties in the past is they've been primarily on PS4. So,
Well, that's the console they prefer, which I don't blame them.
right.
Okay,
But I'm assuming since this is Resolute, and Resolute is a huge PlayStation 4 clan, I think they only are on PS4.
so that would make sense. Yeah.
It would be, yeah, most likely that.
Okay.
So I imagine, even says here, interesting conversation about the teams that unite gamers in tactical excellence and friendship. So I imagine they'll probably talk, well, how did you form Clan Resolute? So
Yeah. Right.
it should be interesting. I would probably find it interesting more so than a lot of people because anymore I enjoy the community aspect about games and such. So,
Yeah, you definitely do.
oh yeah,
So that'll be cool if you run into them and win. Congratulations. If you aren't on PlayStation 4, I'm sorry. Which is us, by the way. We don't. I technically have played on PlayStation 4, but
oh,
Grunt does
don't you
not.
know you were playing with a Bungie employee the other day?
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. I always forget that.
So, since I mentioned that, I wasn't actually intending on telling this story, but I'll run through it quickly.
Oh, this is so
I
good.
was teaming up with what were we playing? We were playing.
Were we playing Trials?
I
No,
don't.
we were.
No,
We
I think
were.
it was just Iron Banner, or was it Clash? Well, Iron Banner is Clash game mode this time.
It might have been like the first day of Iron Banner,
I want to say it was the first day of Iron Banner, yeah.
but that
But
seems
either
too
way,
recent. Anyways, go ahead.
we it was Frantic Freak Show and I. We were playing Iron Banner or whatever it was, and we came across this other team of people. There were like 5 or 6 people, and every time they would kill me, they would walk up to my body and start teabagging me or dancing on it.
And
And
it's important to note they didn't do that to me or at
yeah,
Freak
they
Show. It
didn't.
was just Grunt.
Yeah, no one else on the team, just me. And I could not at all figure out what they were doing. I think by the time the first game had ended, I was laughing hysterically.
Mm.
Frantic and Freak Show, you guys probably thought I was losing it.
I was just glad you were laughing at it instead of raging at it like many others would.
It's just some person being weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do it myself. I don't do it, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Hmm.
It doesn't bother me. Sorry, people. Uh, so then we were in the intermission between rounds. It was or matches. It was trying to find another game, and we got matched up with the same people. At the start of that game, I got a message from one of them, and it just said hi. That was it. So I said hi back, being nice because that's who I am. I'm a nice person generally.
Can confirm.
Uh and then I got a message back, "Are you a Bungie employee?" And after I read that, I just lost it. I mean, if Frantic and Freak Show didn't think I was insane before, they did afterwards. Because
I can still confirm.
yes, because I I did have that question asked a few times back in the later days of Halo 3. I don't know why people thought that, but it's been several years since I've had that question even pop up from anyone. And to have it happen again in a totally different game, I'm like, wow, how do these people even think I'm a Bungie employee? I have no signifying marks or anything
Hmm.
other than the fact that my emblem I use for one of my characters, my warlock in Destiny, is what they call a Bungie Net Legacy emblem. It's for reaching the Mythic member title on their forums back before they changed them. I think if you probably search like uh, Legacy emblems, you could probably find it. It's the fancy blue one.
So Legacy Bungie emblems.
Uh, Probably, or I better spell that right.
Oh, is it the fist with the lightning bolt or
Yes,
whatever? Okay, so it's kind of on screen right now. Hopefully, let me see how it looks. Yeah, it's that one on screen right now. So it was
right.
that.
Yeah, it basically is just their bungee crest, which is a fist holding like one or two lightning bolts, and the background of the emblem is the mythic member blue. So it looks cool. I like it. I was proud I hit that title before everything changed, um, because I spent so much time there. It was like 7 years on their forum before I finally. No, sorry, it was six
Yeah,
years on their forum before I hit that member title. Well, I'm approaching 9 years next month for being on their forum, so that's the
that's
only
quite a
way
while.
I can think that they confused me for a Bungie employee. But hey,
So that means you joined them around Halo 3, because that was when Halo
uh,
3 released, was 2007, 9 years ago.
2007. Yep, March 29th, 2007.
Oh, you even have it memory. Nice.
Oh, darn right I do.
You're 1 month away at this point. Well, 1 month on Monday. By the way,
Yeah,
it's leap year, if you didn't know that.
screw leap year.
I saw a really funny picture. It was like, if you want to save 75% on your relationship anniversaries, just ask the person out on leap day. I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's fun.
wow.
As if they won't move their anniversary to the 28th or the 1st of March, you know.
Right. I
I'm
mean,
pretty I'm
if I
pretty
could
sure
find.
like if there's a kid born on leap day, they get to pick their birthday on the 28th or the 1st. I think the parents pick it or something like that. I heard that. I don't know if it's true. Makes sense, but
I would hope so. Otherwise, that would be a cruel joke. You
it's like,
only
yeah,
have a birthday every 4 years.
he's like 3 years old. No, he's actually like 10, 12 in that area.
Right, exactly.
He's like
So yeah.
the movie with Robin Williams where he's a kid who just grows up way too fast. I
Oh
forget the
my
name of it.
god.
He's like when they graduate, he's in his 60s or something because he just was
Right.
18 years old, but he advanced. Yeah, it'd be that. That'd be really. Maybe that's what that was, and we just don't know.
Who knows? Maybe.
Don't have a kid on leap day is what we're trying to say.
Oh my god.
Anyways, so yeah,
So yeah,
I think that covers everything in that update. Actually, let's go
pretty
finish it up.
much because they just say they're planning on giving us more of the content roadmap and a more of an update to the content roadmap in the weeks ahead.
Yeah,
They're being very tight-lipped about that.
yeah, they will not say anything, and I wonder if anything's going to get leaked with how tight knit they're being. It's the unfortunate truth uh, of the internet.
Yeah.
As we've seen with Magic, I don't know if I've mentioned it on here before, but there were a lot of leaks over the past couple of months in terms of new cards, and it got
Right.
out of hand how much there was. They're still happening, but not nearly at the not nearly at the what's the right term quantity, I guess.
Right.
So, oh yeah,
I imagine it'll happen.
the other thing is we got our 320 ghosts. So if you if you didn't know, the Crimson Days, which was the Valentine's doubles playlist that they had. If you played 7 games on your account, you would get a 320 ghost, and it would be one of the 2 ghosts that you could get from this special event. There was the Crimson Ghost, which was very white and pink colored, and it was kind of like the King's Slayer ghost shell, if you'd seen that one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, imagine just a gradient, essentially, where it starts white and goes pink, and then it's kind of cool. Or it might be flip-flopped, one of the two.
Nope,
And
you're
then
right.
the other one was a chocolate ghost shell. And if you've listened to the past 2 or 3 episodes, I've been a really big fan of this chocolate ghost shell. Like, I really love it. I want them to actually sell it as candy because I would eat the crap out of it. That's got a double entendre in there. But anyways, I would totally eat a chocolate ghost. I'd buy a bag of candy of it, but because of how big they are. And I was sitting here saying, man, I really want this chocolate ghost from this drop. I've played 7 games. We played like 50 or 60 games. Like we were keeping track at
Oh,
one
we
point. We
played
played plenty.
plenty
We
of them.
played enough. And I was saying,
More than
Bungie,
enough to
listen to
qualify.
me. If you listen to this podcast, just know that I want this chocolate ghost shell. I've played enough games in it. I really just want this chocolate ghost shell. So I got on the day we get it, and Freak Show and Grunt were already on and had gotten theirs. And I got on, and Freak Show said, "Oh, did you guys get your ghost yet?" And Grunt goes, "Yeah." Frantic, don't hate me. And I
How
knew it.
much do you hate?
Oh, how much do you hate me? And I was like, "You got the chocolate ghost shell, didn't you?" And he did.
I just, for reference, I want to say that this when he got in there, got into the party, and got into the game and did all this, it was probably the most hilarious 3-minute conversation ever.
Yeah, he probably remembers the details better than I do. But I got in, found out he got his chocolate ghost, and I was like, "Well, here's hoping, guys." So I go to the tower. Well, I see that I have mail from the postmaster. I'm like, here it is. I pick up the package, and I open it, and I get the Crimson Shell at level 320. And I proceeded to just scream. I forget what I screamed. What was it, Grunt? Because I want to hear you say it.
It was your It was your quasi-patented son of a bitch.
And it was very loud, and probably
It
woke up the
was.
people below me, even though it was like 3 in the afternoon. I was extremely upset. So I looked at my inventory at this piece of shit ghost that's level 320. That is not what I wanted. And I have a 315 chocolate ghost. I'm thinking, I could try to infuse this and get it to level 320. But there is a very slight chance it gets to 319. And as I've seen in the forums and on Reddit, a 319 ghost is how you get stuck at light 319 forever. So I'm sitting here thinking I either chance this or go with this piece of shit ghost until I get something to infuse my thing higher. And I decided I was going to infuse it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll bite the bullet. I'll have a 319 ghost. If I get a 320 ghost, I'm going to infuse it and keep this chocolate ghost because I like it that much. So I infused it, and it got to 320, and everything was okay. I did not rage any further. I was very happy. I think I screamed like, "Oh yeah," or some shit. Like I got like really excited and screamed just as loud as I did when I was upset when I got the crimson one. So I got the
I would
chocolate one
say
to
so.
320. It was all good. I was just so upset that the 320 I received was not the one I wanted. So that's how that went down. I
Moral of
have
the
a
story:
it was moral of the story. I'll let you. Or
uh, basically just sell candy ghosts. That's all you need to know.
that's it. Sell chocolate ghosts. Why are they not doing that? Or maybe they
I
are.
don't
Like every time I say this, it's like maybe they are. Maybe they're working on it. Maybe that's in this content roadmap. Who knows? If you
content roadmap.
if you buy the next expansion, you'll get a pack of chocolate ghosts, limited edition. You go on eBay to buy them, and they're like $100, and it's like, why don't I just buy these and sell them instead of eating them? I'd eat them.
Pre-order bonus from GameStop.
Yeah, there you go. There's money to be made there.
Pre-order from GameStop now to receive your bag of limited edition chocolate ghosts.
Yeah. So the rest of the update here, I think they just go on to show a bunch of really cool movies and stuff. Like it's not necessarily highlights. It's all like movies, and I think it's in thought of the uh, Oscars that are coming.
Right.
Are the Oscars tomorrow night? Yeah, I think they're
I
tomorrow night.
have no idea. I don't even pay attention to that stuff.
Oh yeah, they're tomorrow night. Here's hoping Leo DiCaprio actually wins one.
Yep.
So
One thing that I do notice in their player support section, their "What's Up Doc" section,
yep, heading
uh,
back up there. Okay,
one
go.
of the one of the paragraphs says they are also aware that some players are receiving emails from individuals impersonating Bungie employees, which I'm
Hmm.
totally not, by the way.
I'm coming out and saying it. I'm actually not. So if I
No,
impersonate one and you
I'm
fall for it, that's your fault.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd like to work for the company one day. I'm not gonna lie, it would be a dream, but chances are very very slim right now.
Hmm.
But basically, people are getting emails from online jerks that are saying they're Bungie employees and they're asking for their personal information and login credentials for Bungie.net. Uh, General rule of thumb: if someone always asks for your account information, don't give it. I'm pretty sure that's
Anywhere, like
yeah,
not just Destiny. Also,
right.
what are you getting from stealing someone's Bungie account? Like, I get it if it's like a bank account. That makes sense. You'd be like stealing identity and money. What do you get from a
Right.
Bungie account? Haha, I now know what level light you are.
I can dismantle your Gjallarhorns that you totally got like
Oh, could
2
you
weeks
actually
ago.
do that?
If you had their login credentials, you could recover their account on your console,
Oh,
and then if you
okay.
have the
I
game,
okay. That
you can
that
basically
makes
just
sense.
right because many months ago there was a person that was saying there's a there's a kid, a literal kid, and I'm not saying that in a bad way either. It was
Hmm.
um, an actual young child who was playing Destiny. He got a message from someone saying that, hey, I can help you, I can carry you through this raid if you basically just give me. Evidently, the PlayStation 4 has a game share ability,
Hmm.
so you can basically like share your control of the game, of your character and what you're playing, basically with someone else.
Okay.
And they had someone ask this kid, hey, I can help you do this, carry you through this if you just give me game share for a few minutes. So the kid did that, and while he was talking to a relative or someone in the room, he gave the person control of their game, and the random person deleted both of his high level characters and all of the gear, better gear he had on his lower level characters. So
Wow.
that kind of sucks, but that further proves don't trust people online necessarily,
It is not a good idea to trust them.
especially when they ask for, basically control over your game.
Yeah.
But yeah, with login information, you could recover their account and do whatever you want.
There's speaking of something very related to that and really quick, I was browsing. There's a couple of IT subreddits I follow because that's like what my job kind of is. And I was following these. There was this one where it was just like it's a raging subreddit for like IT stuff. So typically it's like people getting mad at people in customer support, like it's plugged in. It's actually not plugged in, and they rage about it. Typical IT stuff. Well, there was one where it was just like, yes, this email is not fishy at all, and it was just like one of those exactly what you would hear, what this is describing, where it's like we're a Bungie employee. You should come sign in here and give us your account credentials. And when you hovered over the link, if you looked far enough down the line on the link, it just said phishing scam. It was like this is you didn't even try. You were just hoping someone
Wow.
clicked it. So,
Wow. I
always beware
mean,
of that stuff, guys. It happens. It was just really funny to just like phishing scam. I wonder what that is. Click. Exactly what you would think.
oh man.
Okay, so that covers
So,
the Bungie update, and we're gonna
yep.
move on to what was the bulk of our week, and that was this lovely thing right now. I just opened up the Hammerstorm update. Ooh, Griffball.
Woo.
For those of you who don't know, Grunt and I met in Griffball. We met through griffballhub.com, which is where you can jump into a league right now and play, well, not right now, but very soon, and play structured Griffball in a competitive manner. Or not so competitive manner. There is a more friendly league. Anyways, that's where he and I met on what team did we initially meet on?
It was Perfect Demise's
Church's Squad.
AGLA team Hyperdrive.
Oh, was it Hyperdrive?
Yes, it was
Okay. Well,
Hyperdrive.
well, that is where we met, and from there, obviously, history wrote itself. But that is where we met. We met through Griffball. We know a lot about the Griffball. And that is all we have done this week. If you came to the Twitch channel anytime besides right now, it was probably streaming some sort of Griffball. Because like I said, in order to play Halo 5, I got to stream. So we've been playing a lot of that. It's been a lot of fun, and there are some things that need addressed, and I've tweeted about this a few times, so has Grunt, and I believe a lot of people in the Griffball community, if you search hashtag Griffball, have been tweeting about it. First things first, Griffball is spelled with one F. I've seen too many Halo subreddit posts about Griff with two
Mm.
Fs. And a lot of the top comments are, you motherfucker, it's spelled with one F. It is really, and I'm glad they are correcting them. Uh,
I mean,
First
I
things
saw I saw
first.
one of my clanmates a while ago,
Yeah,
the other day, spelled with 2 F's, and it took me everything I had not to say, please don't do that. That's sacrilege.
sacrilege. Um, so I want to go over the first thing. This is
Number
a
one.
note to 343. First thing, 343. You should actually test the maps you make. I know
Please.
Knockyard had a say in this and had a hand in making it and probably did some testing, but you really need a group of testers who are not you to be able to look for the crazy things that people will find. Like for instance, you can get on top of this Griffball map because there's no roof to it. You can get up on like the ledges if you jump high enough and hammer jump high enough. You can get on the ledges and walk around on the map, and you can actually walk outside the map. There are certain kill boundaries that you can get past somehow. And you can also throw the ball out of the map because there's no roof, and it takes a minute to reset. This has happened in matchmaking games, and I also saw it on the subreddit before it happened. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate that that can happen. And so be aware of that when you're playing. People might do that. But that is, I mean, one of the main things I'm just like, come on. You had to. I don't want to talk bad about Knockyard because Knockyard's a really nice guy. I've actually talked to him before because he was a part of the Griffball community, but seriously.
The thing about that, I did some research while looking for information on how scripts work. Apparently, there was a glitch introduced. I don't know how long it's been around, but the invisible blockers that you use to, block
Mm-hmm.
things off, they don't spawn correctly in custom games, and that's how I think people are getting out. So, to play devil's advocate for you here, it may not be 343's fault or Knockyards. It may just be a simple fact of this bug or glitch, whatever, is affecting these things not to spawn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's possible, but
Yeah,
may not also be the case.
from what I
So
was seeing in some of the comments, it definitely was. Uh, it was definitely a glitch more than it was map making error. But
right,
that's just it's something they should have tested and figured out in my mind. So that's the first thing. That's related to the game itself more than it's actually Griffball. But we're going to talk
right.
about Griffball now. And before I move on, I want to apologize to the people talking in our Twitch chat. I just opened it up and realized there are people watching this.
What? Hi.
Yeah. By the way, hi everybody. Brock is there, and there's someone else. I think his name was Gunblade Master or something like that. Hello everybody, or Gunblade Warrior. Shout out to you two for watching live. Awesome. This is live every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So back to the topic on hand. So in Griffball, they decided to do a couple of things that make absolutely no sense. First things first, after we talked about that. First thing, shields. Why are shields in Griffball? That has never been a good thing.
Shields should never be in Griffball. Period.
Second, why does the sword lunge 8 miles? Epic sword lunges are fun. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh, definitely they are.
Because that's all I've been doing. But why? Third, why can you lunge as far as you can with the sword with a hammer when sprinting? Oh, because that's how the lock-on is for the Spartan charge. Fourth, the Spartan charge.
Which
Why?
I've been calling shoulder charge
Yeah,
since
I call it shoulder charge too. It's thruster charge, something like that. Whatever it
it's
is,
Spartan
it's
charge.
broken as all hell. Fifth,
Like,
ground pound. Why? Just why? Sixth, thruster packs.
also, why?
Again, why? That's the bulk of it, and we're going to go through each of those points. So first, the sword lunge. If you zoom in with the sword, like hold your smart link, whatever that would be. Typically, it's L. I know for me, it's the left trigger. If you hold
Yeah.
that in, you zoom in with like a battle rifle or something. If you do that with your sword, you get an increased sword range, and I mean increased. It is far. You can lunge halfway across the damn map with this. I'm also telling people who are listening this so that way they can do this against me in matchmaking, and I can get very upset. And this also kind of goes into the grab hammer as well. The only downside to it, and it's a pretty good downside in my mind, is that the radar has been it goes away when you zoom in. So
Right.
Griffball is a very radar heavy game where you want to watch who's near you so you don't betray your teammates with your hammer and you can hit people who are behind you trying to sneak up on you. It's very intensive on the radar watching when the pro are in higher level. Well, the thing is, uh, it's gone with SmartLink, which is nice, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I keep getting killed from behind. That's the only pro to SmartLink. Everything else is bad. Like they just need to remove SmartLink completely.
Right.
It just
And one discussion I've heard has been if you get increased range with your hammer when going in with SmartLink, zooming in with SmartLink.
yeah, you
So
do.
I don't know how you do.
You get a little bit, and you can get a lunge with it too, kind of like the sprint, but I don't think it's as further. I haven't tested it nearly as much because I've just been sword killing everything.
I mean, why not? Also,
Yeah, why not?
seven. Why spawn with a sword?
Oh yeah, 7. Why spawn with a sword? We'll get back to 7. I honestly think I know why. Because they knew about the smart link lunge, and it was like, this is more useful than a hammer.
I mean,
I'm
it
pretty
doesn't do
sure
you a whole
that's
lot of good when you have a person with a hammer or whatever spawn killing you. But I mean, thruster
also
pack, I
that.
guess.
Yeah,
So
thruster pack would get you out of that. So what was point two? This the hammer. Why is it? I already forgot the order of all these. I didn't write them down. I just went off the top of my head. But anyways, sprinting and being able to lunge really far. That's probably built into the game, and I understand that, but it's really annoying because you just have to
yeah,
like time that. I guess the pros will figure it out, and timing is very big in a part of Griffball, but it's just like, god damn it, that's really annoying.
right.
Especially when you're the ball runner, and the ball runner cannot tackle people very well either. He cannot. He can take down 2 at most, maybe 3 on a good day, and then he's dead no matter what. In
In
previous
match,
games, he could just easily take out 80 swords in a row, and it wouldn't matter.
right, in matchmaking settings. Normally when I've been the runner, which is not very frequently, I'm scared of the ball. But it you can kill one person and be fine, and then normally if you try and go kill a second person immediately, you always trade with them.
Yeah,
Meaning they kill you, you kill them, you lose the ball.
and the sword reload is really fast, which, well, compared to the ball runner's melee, the reload on the ball runner melee should be more punishing when you have the ball. I
Right,
think
right.
so. That's. Oh, I just drew a blank. Oh no.
Oh,
But anyways,
that's a thing.
yeah. So I'm gonna go on to the next point just to go past that. What was the next one? Spartan charge. The shoulder charge thing. That is
Shoulder
so
charge,
dumb.
Spartan charge.
That is really dumb. It is
Right.
very overpowered. Basically, here's how you should use it in my mind. If someone's spawn killing you, because of how it works right now, if someone's spawn killing you and you have a chance to get it charged up, like where you sprint and you can actually do it, just go right at them with it, because they will automatically trade with you no matter what happens,
Right.
unless
10
you,
times
unless
out
you
of 10,
fail to
they
connect.
always trade.
Yeah, unless you fail to connect with it, you will always trade or kill them. That is how bad it is. And we've gone into games where people are literally only doing that, and all you have to do to combat it is just keep backing up when they're coming at you. And if they thrust at you and you're still backing up, they shouldn't hit you, assuming they started early enough. So you can just capitalize on their mistake. But for the most part, it's really freaking annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
So that needs to go. It can actually beat the runner if the runner melees you and he's at a low enough shield, by the way. That's happened to me. I've been
Oh
low
yeah.
on shields as the runner and punched a guy who charged me, and I didn't kill him, but he killed me. And that just shouldn't happen. The runner's supposed to be able to survive when he punches stuff unless you outsmart him, is how it's always been. Except in Reach, in a sense, because Reach, there were health packs that you had to pick up and you could die to them. You had to be much more conservative with the ball in Halo Reach. But
Right.
in Halo 3 and Halo 4, it was about how many times could you punch somebody without dying.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then ground pound, that needs to go away. Also, that's apparently what everybody did in the rush you guys went in. Which, by the way, they played in a rush where they got to play against the pros from Griffball Hub and a lot of other people who signed up.
Yeah.
And you guys said that was just all ground pounds?
Well, there were two teams that kind of went try hard,
Mm-hmm.
which totally weren't the teams I was suspecting to, because we got on a team with friggin' oh god, I can't remember the names. It was a lot of the well-known pros in the AGLA like pro league. They're
Oh,
really
okay.
good at the game, basically.
Okay, so you got into a bracket with them, basically?
Yeah, because it was
Okay.
set up like I think round robin.
Yeah.
So, however that works. Basically, we played 3 games, but we were technically eliminated after 2, so we couldn't do anything after we lost 2 games, except for play our 3rd game.
Okay.
But yeah, the 2 other teams they played like they normally would, but
Mm-hmm.
I partied up with Freak Show, Mr. Crowbar, and Melvin in Bloom.
And Melvin's an admin, right?
Yes, he is
Okay.
for the AGLA at least.
So if you're listening, the AGLA is the American Griffball League of America, which is the original league that was created by Rooster Teeth back in '08.
2008, I want to say. Yeah,
That's when I started playing.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was 2008 the Griffball came around. So
Mm. Yeah, it was a
because
year.
I actually got into it in 2009, a year after it came out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we partied up with them. I partied up with them, I should say. Then our second game of the night was against the team with the professional players on it. They don't actually get paid, but again, they're good at the game, so they're
Yeah,
pros,
yeah, the better players of the
right?
community. That's the best way to put it, to be honest.
Right,
If they're not going to get paid for it.
right. And the one person sent Crowbar a message just telling him to, let us know when your team is ready. And Crowbar's like, I want to do all kinds of ground pounds this from here on out. So he just sent a message back to the other person, said ground pound. And for like 4 or 5 rounds out of like a 9 round game,
Hmm.
um, it was mostly ground pounds.
I thought they
So
weakened it, or did they weaken the thruster pack, like the
I think it was
charge?
thruster pack that they decreased on.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he tweaked around with the settings, so we weren't actually playing on the official test game types, as I put
Oh,
in air
okay.
quotes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a purely fun game. We weren't actually doing anything for science or
Right.
video game
We
science.
just have fun. Okay.
Yeah, it actually was because some pretty crazy kills happened.
Oh
There
boy.
was also the time where I think it was Melvin or Freak Show went to ground pound and just totally took out our team at the start of the round.
He did that a couple of times. I know in the matchmaking, Freak Show did that to us like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah.
It was quite
Which,
fun.
speaking of matchmaking, why is betrayal booting a thing?
Yeah, that number 8. We'll
Number
get
eight.
there.
We're gonna have a list of 20 items by the time we're done.
We should. That's how many things are wrong with it. So yeah, ground pound can get pretty ridiculous, and it's really hard to stop it. By the way,
Right.
I've only been able to stop it a few times. It's because they've been completely oblivious that I've been there.
Right.
So if you can
And
aim it well, you can score easily if you're up in the air.
right in the makeshift league settings that I tried now, which what I mean by that is they will be settings most likely used in the GGL and AGLA. GGL is the more recreational league that Frantic mentioned earlier.
Yep, it's called the Good Games League. So
Yep,
GG at the end and good spirit is the idea.
idea. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so those settings will be used more so in that league. In those leagues, one league might have a little bit different settings to suit their more competitive nature or
Hmm.
whatever, the less competitive nature even. But they're
Yeah.
generally the same, and they turn ground pound off for the runner. Players still have it, so if you don't have the ball,
Oh,
you
okay.
you can ground pound all you want. It's just
I think that's better.
you can't ground pound for a score, which I'm perfectly okay with. Honestly, ground pound
Yeah,
kills are fun to get, especially when you like lunge up in the air and then thruster pack over someone and then ground pound them, which I totally did once.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was stupid and forgot to record it though.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah, I'm sad now.
Ooh, excuse me.
All right,
Well, then I think it's actually better if I haven't gotten to play it without with the runner not having it, but yeah.
yeah,
To not
it
get too down that
definitely
rabbit hole, we can keep going. But what were you gonna say?
it it definitely is a lot better even with just the runner not having ground pound because you can't have them go up on the sidewall and then
Jump
run
and then
to
do it.
right run on the back wall, which is called the wall hop apparently. I just learned that the other day when we were building a griffball court. Been
That's
playing
yeah.
for like 4 years now, 3 years now, and still don't know what the terminology is.
I
But
know most of it.
yeah,
Whatever.
in matchmaking, a lot of people just jump up on the sidewall, go to the back wall hop, and then just ground pound in for the score. Well, you can't do that in league settings, which
It's way better.
really, yeah, it reinforces the core of what griffball is. You have to rely on the other 3 teammates on the court with you to get you into that goal,
Hmm.
or some crazy shenanigans.
Oh man, I was thinking of the terminology like RTDS. Did you ever learn what that meant?
Nope.
That was refusal to die syndrome.
Heard of it though.
Yeah. Okay. Point six thruster packs. Thruster packs. I mean, it is the best way to not get punished for swinging your hammer. In
Yeah,
my mind, if you just swing your hammer and don't kill somebody, and they want to try to capitalize on you, you can just thruster pack backwards, and they probably won't kill you.
right. I think I called it instant reset button the
Yeah,
other day,
that's a
which
good
it's
way.
totally fair. So because even if you're the ball runner, you overshoot the pad from a jump to score, just thruster pack over it, bam,
Hmm.
score. You technically should be dead because that guy that spawned over there is aiming in with his sword, but you end the round and live because you decide to thruster pack back right above the plate.
And it's
Which,
really easy to steal the ball and thruster pack away immediately and not get hurt.
right,
How
I've
many
done that a
times
few
I've
times.
that was all I was doing, I think, last night while we were playing. Like I would literally just lunge into somebody, grab the ball, and then just fly out.
Right, it's a totally legitimate strategy. I'm not going to argue that fact, but
Yeah, it's not fair for how Griffball was
it's
meant to be
not.
played in my mind.
No.
Uh, so that puts us on number 7. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Uh, oh
Starting
God.
with the sword. That
Starting with
was,
a sword. There we go.
and then what was number 8? Or it
Betrayal
was
booting.
betrayal booting. Yeah, so it's number 7. Starting with a sword. That's never been a thing besides in Reach when you could choose to start with a sword. 9 times out of 10 you wouldn't. You would start with a hammer. And for some reason we are now starting with a sword.
I think you could choose your loadouts in Halo 4 to start with a sword also. I think. I'm not sure.
That might be true. Either way, you almost always started with a hammer.
But yeah,
And
majority of the
now we
time you
don't.
started with a hammer.
You don't even get the choice in this
No.
one. You just
No.
literally start with a sword.
Just,
And it
right.
is the most annoying thing because of people who like to stat pad, or in other words, constantly spawn kill you and not score the ball. Those people exist because being the best in a casual playlist is apparently the best thing ever. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And you know who you are. I could name off like 10 of them right now. I'm not gonna. But those are the most annoying things ever because it matters for some reason. Who knows? One of them likes to have a really high Grimoire score and be in the top players who have Grimoire score in Destiny.
Because Grimoire score matters.
That's probably the first time you've heard someone say, "I want to have a high Grimoire score."
Yeah.
So it's stupid. And main point is, it's really hard to get out of a spawn killing free spree, even in a league game. If that was the case, where for some reason they had a sword starting off, spawn killing can happen as long as they keep scoring the ball. Essentially, the thing is, if you can't stop us, we're going to just score and win the game. That's happened to me before when I was a very crappy player, and that's a legitimate strategy, but not the whole killing and not scoring the ball. We just want to have a high KD and get the most points, most credits out of this game or whatever, or RPs, because it
Right.
started in Halo Reach. So.
Yep. In league settings for Griffball are based on rounds. They're not like matchmaking where it's just one continuous round. I
Mhm.
understand why they did that for matchmaking because when you talk about stuff like that in general, even for other games, it's you want to have people get in a match, play it as quickly as possible, out of that match into another one, so they keep playing and can get like 15 matches in the whole 45 minutes they have to play.
Mhm.
So I understand why it's one continuous round, but you break that when you have someone that stat pads that holds the ball and makes that game go for 10 to 12 minutes,
Mhm.
just racking up kills. And that's not fun to a lot of people.
No, it's not. But if you get in that situation with the current settings, just when you spawn, jump and thruster pack, and you probably will get out of it unless they've timed their hit so well that you immediately die when you spawn.
Yeah, I
I've been
haven't.
able to get out of it a few times and haven't really been hit too hard by it, but I know there's some other
Right.
people who may not be very good at the game and can get stuck in that and it might deter them. There's only a small amount of people who play the game that do that, so if that happens to you, please don't leave and just keep playing. It's a very fun game mode. You just gotta practice a little more. Theoretically, you shouldn't get matched up with them if they have enough of a smart matchmaking system, not put people who have played 100 games with someone who's played 0 games. I don't know how their system works though.
Right. For 1 week, I would love to see 343 ban stat patterns and see what their reactions would be.
Hmm. It's just unsportsmanlike conduct,
Right.
and that's a thing you could report for. I remember on the 360, so that
I
should
think
be
it's. I think it still is on the new system, the one.
okay.
It might be called something different, but like player conduct or something like that. But it's generally there in their report terms.
Yeah.
And coming from me, if you see someone that is doing this, you know, I have nothing against the people that are stat padding. It's nothing personal. So for whatever reason you're listening to this, I have nothing against you personally. It's just the way you play the game ruins the fun for everyone else. And
Some
that
people
being
are like that,
said,
unfortunately.
yes. That being said, if you come across stat padders, I would go ahead and report them.
Yeah, because their conduct and the way they're playing the game is not how it was meant to be played.
Right.
Which that's a whole other discussion. Um,
Right.
but let's move on to point 8 and the last point before we go over on our time here. Um,
Betrayal booting.
Betrayal booting. Why is that a thing in matchmaking? This is the most betrayal based. Oh, it's not betrayal based, but this is the most betrayals will happen in this game mode, and they should have known that. And they
Right.
probably did and just were like, oh, we probably should have changed that. But
Right.
we've already had a few of us being kicked for that. I've had the option to kick easily 5 or 6 people. I have yet to do it because there's no reason to do it. Betrayals happen in this game mode. Even for the most skilled people, betrayals can happen.
All
So
right.
it shouldn't be there. Freak Show, he's been kicked like 3 times in the amount of time we've been playing already by just people not liking the fact that he was doing that. Or
Right.
not even, he wasn't doing it on purpose. That's not what I mean to say.
No, it was just
Um,
totally accidental. I've been kicked twice. The first time I was kicked, I got sent in timeout for 10 minutes.
yeah, we've talked about that before. God, that's if you go inactive for like a minute in your game, you'll get kicked and then banned for matchmaking from 10 minutes. First time offenders do not require a mandatory minimum, guys. That is
Nope. So I have a
absurd.
feeling that's twice now I've been set in timeout by 343. I have a feeling my third time's going to be longer.
I've been sent in timeout twice. Going inactive when I had to say goodbye to my girlfriend as she went to work, and the other time was for I don't even remember. It was something stupid, and I got kicked for 10 minutes. So I've had it twice. I haven't been betrayal booted yet. I've had the option to boot you a few times because sword betrayals happen. Sword betrayals happen, and I've had the option I think to boot Freak Show once.
Yeah, I
And
haven't had the
hilariously enough,
option.
I've done the most purposeful betrayals and have yet to get kicked.
Yeah, I have never had the option to boot you yet.
And
It's
it's hilarious
always,
because I'll Spartan charge him when he's standing next to the ball, just for
oh
fun.
yeah, I'm getting ready to pick up the ball, and all of a sudden, I kill a guy from the other team who's doing the same thing I am. I'm like, I hear the announcer say, "New ball spawn," and I'm like, "All right, I got the ball." And then all of a sudden, bam! I see a shoulder charge, and there's only one person around.
And it's me.
And normally,
Two balls
normally it's
spawn
just,
and Grunt's dead because of me.
yeah. Speaking of betrayals, when I first started playing Griffball in a league, the team I was on, they let's just say I had a bad habit of accidentally betraying people.
Hmm.
It was because I was that bad at how I played. Which consider yourself lucky, Frantic, that I was a little better by the time I played with you on Hyperdrive.
It's okay.
Betrayals would have been happening like 100 times more than what they actually did.
That's it's what happens when you start off. The original team I played on, we had a guy who was totally a connection tank, and he betrayed. So he had more. He had like the same amount of betrayals as he did like deaths, and it was pretty hilarious.
And
He was like our
but
main tank because he just connected really well and then just killed everything. It didn't matter what you were on the radar; it was dead.
you, that guy's standing on the other side of the court. Go kill him. Okay. Just looks at him and dies.
Yeah. Okay.
But I got created the fake hashtag, which it might actually be a thing. It might actually be on Twitter. I don't know. You could probably search it if you really wanted to. But it's a joke because I would always get more betrayals than kills because I've only managed like 20 kills, but I'd always have like a couple more betrayals somehow.
That's funny.
So hashtag more betrayals than kills.
That probably is a
That's
thing.
that's definitely me. You'll probably see if it is a thing. It's probably like a few tweets from me in there.
It's probably like 90% you. Yeah.
Probably.
All right. Well, we've gone pretty far over time at this point. I expected that with all the crap we wanted to talk about and how much we've been doing Griffball and talking about it. So
Right.
I'm looking at almost a minute or an hour and 15 minutes roughly, but that's okay. We've had episodes go over and episodes go under. Actually, I think we've had one episode go under and the rest go over, but whatever.
I mean, we'll get it right one of these days where we stick to an hour.
I figure an hour 10 is about where we're going to be. It happens.
It
So
works for me.
take away the 15 minutes of talking about Arrow and how our week went. We went fine.
I mean, but that's part of the and junk though.
It's part of the
Then it's
junk.
just then it's just
Oh,
video games.
video games. Yeah, there's no junk. There should be. All right. Well, that about does it up. We're gonna do some quick advertising for us. This is not monetary advertising. This is just where you can find us. On Twitter, you can find the Frantic Talks account. It is at frantic_talks. Remember, I quoted some lyrics earlier. I will tweet at you and shout you out if you can name the song. It's really easy to name the song, by the way. Uh, I'm
BRB
at
searching that up.
I'm at FranticJ3 on Twitter. Grunt is at Onyx ONYX Spartan. And we have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Frantic Talks. That is all one word. If you saw it at the beginning of the episode on the stream, you would probably have seen the main website, which is frantictalks.com. We also have a Magic portion. I also showed that one today. It was magic.frantictalks.com. There was a new article posted this yesterday, actually, that we talked about. Obviously, if you want to read that up or read more, you can check that out there. And if you want to watch this stream of the podcast live, it is every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/franticj3 the third. Third is number 3RD because some bastard took Frantic J3. And I believe that covers just about everything. You can find this podcast on iTunes as well. So just search Frantic Talks. It should be the only one there. All right, that about sums it up. And do you have anything else to add, Grunt?
The elusive Black Spindle guide is coming.
Yes,
I
it
promise.
is. It'll be soon. I'm excited for it.
Yes, I
So,
have like 2 paragraphs to finish up, and hopefully I can finish those up maybe yet today even.
ooh, that'd be really
That'd be
cool.
great.
Pay attention to the YouTube channel tomorrow, which we still don't have an official tag for. We need 100 subscribers. I'll be uploading episode 5. Nope, 6. Episode 6 of the Emerald Nuzlocke. It'll be awesome and fun. So, I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
And we'll see you next time, guys.